So this morning, headed into work. Brian gave me a call, had to run over to the paint shop.
All right, David, you ready to go?
Yeah.
All right, listen to me. 300, we're taking it completely apart. You got everything you need?
Yeah, I got everything else you need.
Listen, I want 100% disassembly because I want everything white. I don't want to see any silver at all. All the wiring, Dave, just pull the clamps. I want everything to look factory when it goes back together. Okay. So take the clamps off that we can bolt back on that are just like steel colored. That, you know, they're just shiny, they're not like all painted with silver. Anything that's silver is gonna go white. I just want it to look like it came from Yamaha, like a white motor.
No problem.
All right? All right, cool. Earlier this year, I had a really good client give me a call. They're actually out of South Carolina, and it's time for their 25 Contender to get repowered. I did this boat 5 or 6 years ago. We actually redid the whole boat to match their 61 Garlington. I told them when they were ready, they're gonna wanna go to the new 300. The platform's perfect for that boat. I've done a couple of them now, and the boats run incredible. So now it's up to my guys to get this motor all painted up, mounted back on the back of the boat, and get these guys in the water. They're serious fishermen, and they can't wait to try out this new 300.
Oh, I dropped something. I love the 300s, man. They're animals, man. I gotta be honest, we're gonna lift it with that cherry picker. I don't usually do these like that. We usually use the forklift. So I don't know how it's gonna go. I don't know why we didn't have a forklift available at that point, but we didn't. So we had a little cherry picker, engine hoist, whatever you wanna call it. The geometry just wasn't working out for me that well, and I did the best I could. Oh, that's my fault. We had a little incident while the camera guy was helping me out there, because again, he sent me over there unprepared, like usual. Okay, now I gotta take a break. At that point, we just started tearing the motor down. We take it completely apart. We're just taking off miscellaneous little items up here. This is your rigging grommet, so we're just gonna pull that out of the way so Mike can spray. Because we're doing a color change, you gotta take off extra stuff when you go white, because you don't wanna see gray anywhere. If this was just going back a factory color, then it'd be one thing. But since we're going white, a lot's gonna show. We have a little bucket system, so certain parts of the engine are gonna go in this bucket and then they all get sealed up and put away properly. But yeah, you definitely wanna if you haven't done a lot of them, I would recommend separating them, you know, lower unit parts, midsection parts, etc. You know, the importance of taking everything apart like we do is that once it does get painted and goes back together, it looks like that it was done at the factory.
Well, now that Dave's gone, first thing we're gonna do is go ahead and wash these, get all the grease and oils off of them. You're looking to get the grease off of areas around anything that the mechanics are gonna be greasing up. You gotta get all that off. If you don't, you know, you're gonna wind up with fish eyes and a really bad paint job overall. Now we're done cleaning. Most important part is taping it off before we sand it. With all the intricate little pieces that you have, you really have to make sure you watch out for any grommets or areas that don't need to be painted. Once you come to the cowlings, you got a lot of the stickers on there. You heat it up and you start bringing the blade behind it and just peeling it off. Once you get the whole sticker off, you're still left with a little bit of residue behind it. You really need to make sure that that adhesive is off, because when you go into the final stages of sanding and prepping, it can really mess you up. Next step we're gonna do is go ahead and start sanding it and getting it prepped. 300, 400 grit, get rid of all the gloss and get it to a nice flat finish. And then we're basically ready to start wiping it and prepping it. When you strip a motor down like that, you've gotta make sure that everything is bagged off properly, because the owner's spending a lot of money, and the last thing he wants to do is pull a cowling off and see overspray all over his brand new motor he just bought. Once we get the parts hung, we'll do a final clean, getting any grease and wax off of there that might have been missed in any of the stages prior to where we're at now. And then we'll come back in one last time with a tack rag and do a final real light wipe to make sure the paint job comes out right. The boat that this motor is going on is already off white. So we're gonna go ahead and spray it off white just so it has a nice, clean, custom look instead of having just a regular gray motor on the back end of it. Very, very critical that I gotta watch where I'm doing my back and my front, because the last thing you wanna do is be on your second or third coat and then bump into a part, and then you're just gonna have to start all back over again. gonna be really nice to see the older motor come off that boat and a brand new motor go on there, freshly painted. I think it's really gonna make the boat pop.